following is a Hoop Ball presentation.
Hello, and welcome to the Box Score Breakdown Show, a Hoop Ball presentation. My name is Adrian Benjamins, and I'm joined by Neil Rochlani, and this episode is brought to you by Hawaiian Isles Kona Coffee Company. Get some delicious coffee, taste the Kona difference, head over to hawaiianisles.com. You can also find their amazing coffee over at Amazon. Neil, how are you doing, man?
I love your calm and soothing voice tonight, Adrian. It is fantastic. I am doing okay. As we were talking about before we came on, I cannot stream properly.
It's tough, man.
It is driving me crazy. Anyway, I streamed Rashawn Holmes tonight. He did not produce. I thought, here's my thinking. They're in Toronto. They're going to get waxed. He's going to play maybe 20-plus minutes. It did not happen. They almost won this game. I don't know if you saw. We'll get to the box score pretty soon, but it came down to the very last second before Toronto got the win. It was crazy. Anyway, how are you tonight?
I'm doing good, man. Yeah, streaming is always tricky, because especially if you're trying to figure out that blowout type narrative and, picking one of the worst teams in the NBA against one of the best teams. I think one of the things that was against you was, which we'll get to when we get to the game, but Kawhi Leonard sitting on a back-to-back tonight. So that most likely hurt you a little bit there. And, man, we love here at Hoop Ball, we love ourselves some Rashawn Holmes, and this guy he would be such a stud, Neil, if he could just crack, man, forget starter minutes. Let's say just over 20 minutes a game, and I think he could be worth playing. But man, Phoenix, they just mess with his playing time, and it's a shame because he's a really talented player, man. I don't know.
I just want him to produce when I start him. That's all I really care about. I am so selfish. All right. Do you see any news? I don't see, or actually I haven't even checked yet, so I should not say that.
I haven't seen much news for today. No, not much.
It looks like Dennis Smith Jr. is still being held out, not traveling with the team, but I guess we kind of talked about that yesterday.
Yeah.
Tristan Thompson is already listed out for tomorrow. Due to a left foot soreness. And like you said, Leonard sat tonight. And also, did Lowry end up playing tonight? Oh, yeah, he did play. At first, he was ruled out, and then he was rolled back in. Kind of strange. But he did play tonight. All right. Let's go on to we have 6 games for a Thursday night. It's a little bit heavier than normal for a Thursday. It is your turn.
All right, let's jump into it.
Yep.
So I believe the first game of the day was the New York Knicks and the Washington Wizards. And I believe this one took place in London earlier today. So let's jump into that one. And a treat for the fans in England, a tight, close game. The Wizards squeaking out the victory 101-100. I'm going to take a glance over at the Knicks side of this game. I'm going to start with Kornet. Neil, this guy's been playing pretty good. I think, he's probably been already picked up in most standard and deep leagues. If he's available, I think he's worth an ad. We did see Mitchell Robinson return, and for sure Mitchell Robinson is going to cut into this guy. But Kornet's been playing pretty well. 16 points, a block, 5 steals tonight. That's outstanding. 2 assists, 3 rebounds. 4 of 6 from three-point range. Love getting those threes from a center. That's great. 5 of 11 shooting from the field, 2 of 2 from the line. Emmanuel Mudiay had a nice game today. Did have 5 turnovers, but I love what he did everywhere else. 25 points, 2 assists, 7 rebounds. He even gave you a 3. Shot a pretty efficient 11 of 18 from the field, 2 of 2 from the line. Kevin Knox, who has been playing really well lately, did not have it going here today. The shot was off. He was 2 of 11 from the field for 5 points and assists, 4 rebounds. He was 0 of 6 from three-point range, 1 of 2 from the line. I would stick with Knox. there's going to be, for sure, there's going to be games where he hurts your field goal percentage, but they're going to just turn him loose the second half of the season, and he's been pretty good before this game. Tim Hardaway Jr., this was a letdown for him. Only 8 points, an assist, 2 rebounds, 2 threes on 2-7 shooting. Usually this guy leads this team in usage. Today was not the case. 2 of 2 from the line from him. Noah Vonleh with the double-double, 13 points, 10 rebounds, and assists. No steals, no blocks is a little disappointing, but still an okay game from him tonight. 6 of 11 from the field, 1 and 2 from the line. Off the bench, they got some nice production from Dotson, who had 13 points, 25 minutes. Dotson with 3 threes as well. That's really nice. Alonzo Trier with 13 points, 3 assists, 2 rebounds in 23 minutes. He was 1 and 2 from downtown. Not too much else to talk about. As I mentioned, Mitchell Robinson returning from a long absence. Only 10 minutes tonight. They're going to ramp him up slowly. No Cantor in this one, so that's a little interesting. Neil, what do you think of the Knicks, man?
Yeah, I'm trying to still figure out this team, and we're already halfway through the season. Let's start with Cornette. I picked him up about 3 weeks ago when he was getting like 30 minutes a night. He tapered off to 20 minutes a night, and now the last 2 games he has been on fire, 33 minutes, and has had 2 phenomenal stat lines. So overall, he's averaging, I see, around 80th in a per-game basis over the last month in ACAT. So maybe I should have stuck with him, but I don't know if I can trust him. This lineup is too hard. I will say I like Knox in points leagues. I think you're right. He is going to get a lot of run the second half of the season. He doesn't do much in assists, or the defensive stats and the percentages are just a little bit too low for me, but I do think he will get a lot of run and perhaps do a lot of points. And then besides that, I know Canada didn't make the trip, so that was a big reason why Cornette got a lot of minutes, and we'll see what happens when Mitchell Robinson starts to ramp up to full-time availability. And then finally, I heard some rumors that Vonleh might be on the trading blocks. I don't know if you saw that. So keep that in mind, or at least keep an eye out for that. I don't know if that'll help or hurt him. Right now, I think he's a pretty good, reliable minutes guy on this team, and is a very low-end starter, but it's consistent, and that could change if he gets shipped off somewhere.
Yeah, you know what? That's a really good point. And I think as somebody who has Vonleh on a bunch of teams, I would be really disappointed if Vonleh got moved. One of the teams that they talk about, Neil, is the Sixers. And, we know he would likely fall, as a 4th or 5th option on that team behind their big 3. So his value is highest on the Knicks, where he's starting. He's getting good usage. This team's lacking a lot of talent, so he gets to take a lot of shots. So I would be very disappointed if he gets moved. Also, there's a lot of rumblings, Neil, that Enes Kanter is likely to get moved. We know, he was starting at the beginning of the season, now coming off the bench. So another reason why Luke Cornette may be a decent hold here.
Yeah, that's a good point. There's a very real chance he'll be gone by the trade deadline as well. And Cornette or Robinson, but right now it looks like Cornette, like you said. All right, I'm going to go with the Washington side. Bradley Beal has been leading this team for quite a while now. Played 40 minutes, 26 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists on 10 of 29 shooting, so struggled there. 2 3-pointers, 4 or 5 from the line, 2 steals, 7 turnovers. Trevor Ariza played 38 minutes, went for 12, 7, and 7 on 3 of 11 shooting, 4 or 6 from the line, 2 3-pointers himself, and just a single turnover. Jeff Green played 21 minutes, did not produce much tonight. 3 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, only took 4 shots, missed them all, went 3 of 4 from the line, and a steal. Thomas Bryant, 16 minutes, thought he would get much more time here. Just 10 points, 9 rebounds, did shoot 5 of 7 from the field, and had a single block. Satoransky, much more time, played 30 minutes, 14, 2, and 5, 6 of 8 shooting, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 2 steals, and a block. Otto Porter, still coming off the bench, but played 35 minutes tonight, 20 points, 11 rebounds, 8 of 16 shooting, 1 3-pointer, 2 steals, 3 of 5 from the line. Chase and Randall played 23 minutes off the bench, 4 2 and 2 on 2 of 6 from the field. And Decker played 19 minutes, 10 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists on 5 of 9 shooting, and a steal. I'm going to chalk this game up to just being in London and kind of like the diversion of being out of the country. And maybe minutes gets thrown around, the game goes a little bit different than expected. I think Bryant's minutes are much safer than the 16-minute that he got tonight. I picked him up in one league. I expect him to play high 20 minutes most nights. Jeff Green, I'm not sure, though. He is going to be replaced by Otto Porter pretty soon. He's already been replaced in the minutes split, and that should be in the starting split as well pretty soon. And that's really it. I'm not really looking at Chase and Randall as a potential option or Decker for even deeper leagues right now. Any thoughts on the Wizards?
Not too much for me to add. I agree with your take on Bryant. He's been pretty good. I think, just as you said, man, he should definitely see more minutes than this going forward. And I agree with everything else. You pretty much covered it all. So not too much more for me to add. I guess one thing I'll note is I'm seeing Markieff Morris on a lot of waiver wires, and I don't know, man. I mean, I'm not sure if he's worth the stash. I know he's still a little ways away, but I'm curious for second half of the season if he could see a big boost with the lack of talent in this front court here. So I don't know. It's just something that I've noted looking at a lot of waiver wires. I don't know, man. All right. Let's move over to the next game. Next one I got up is the Sacramento Kings and the Charlotte Hornets. This one, unfortunately, was a blowout. The Hornets just killing the Kings tonight, 114-95. I'm going to take a look at the Kings. Going to start with Buddy Hield, 24 points, 2 steals and assists, 6 of 11 from downtown. Love that 3-point contribution from Hield, 9 of 18 from the field. Pretty good. De'Aaron Fox was a little disappointing today. 10 points, a steal, a block with 8 assists and 5 rebounds. The shooting wasn't too great. It was 0 of 2 from 3-point range, 4 of 10 from the field, 2 of 3 from the line. Willie Cauley-Stein with 8 points, a block, 3 steals, 4 assists, 11 rebounds. I love Willie Cauley-Stein, man. Filling it up in some of these other categories that he's not known for, like assists and steals. This is great. 4 of 6 from the field. Shumpert didn't do much in a start. He only got 20 minutes for 7 points. Nemanja Bjelica has really fallen off with the return of Marvin Bagley. So I've seen him dropped all over the place, Neil. 2 points, 4 assists, and 6 rebounds from him. Only 19 minutes in a start. Bogdanovic, 17 points, 2 assists, 1 rebound, coming off the bench, but still getting some good minutes. 27 minutes tonight. He was 8 of 13 from the field, 1 3. That's a pretty good game from him. What else? Marvin Bagley. I think if this guy, he's probably already owned in all standard and deep leagues. If not, pick him up. I think he could be a strong play for the second half of the season. In limited minutes here today, he had 15 points with 8 rebounds and assists. 1 3 shot, 6 of 11 from the field, 2 of 4 from the line. It's pretty good. Not too much else to talk about here. We definitely don't trust any of these other guys off this bench. Neil, what do you think of the Kings?
Yeah, the Kings are. I think they're a good team, but sometimes they go on the road and they just get blown out by other good teams or at least competitive teams. I just so I thought they'd be more competitive tonight. De'Aaron Fox, though, he's the one that still continues to impress me. 31st in 8 cat leagues. That is just phenomenal growth. A lot of people are avoiding him, and I took him in one league. I wish I would have taken him in all of my leagues. Cauley-Stein, like you said, had a good night with the other stats he normally doesn't get. And Buddy Hield is such a pure shooter. This guy's shooting 48% from the field, averaging 3.3 3-pointers a game. That's phenomenal. I wish I had him as well. That's about it, I can say. Bagley, he's gone in all my leagues. I wish I could pick him up. Like you said, I agree. I think he's going to be great for second half of the season, if not sooner. And on that note, I'm going to hop over to the Hornets side. They've been getting a lot of production. Walker's fallen off a little bit. Tonight he had a solid night, 23 points, 4 rebounds, 5 assists, 9 of 21 from the field, 3 3-pointers, 2 of 2 from the line, and a block. Jeremy Lamb played 26 minutes, 14 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist. Just shot 5 of 14 from the field, 2 of 2 from the free throw line. Did make 2 3-pointers and have 2 steals. Bismack Biyombo, I'm really surprised he's the one starting at center. He just played 9 minutes tonight, though. Did not score, only got 2 rebounds, and that was it. Had a block, I should add. Only had one. Did not foul, actually. Did not have a foul. So, and I'm not seeing an injury news on him. So, Hernan Gomez off the bench. I'll get to him in a second. But Batum started at small forward, 27 minutes, 7 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists on 1 of 5 shooting. He's been a major disappointment in fantasy this year. Did have 2 steals and 5 of 6 from the free throw line. Marvin Williams, kind of a pedestrian night, 10 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists on 3 of 6 shooting. 3 3-pointers. Defensively, he held up in the money counters. 3 3-pointers, 3 steals, and a block. Off the bench, they got 30 minutes from Kid Gilchrist, 15 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist on 4 of 7 shooting, a perfect 7 of 7 from the line, and 2 steals. Hernan Gomez played 26 minutes, 11 points, 16 rebounds, 1 assist on 4 of 9 shooting, a 3-pointer, a steal, and a block. Just a phenomenal night from him. I wish I could time fantasy, Adrian. I would have Hernan Gomez in my line tonight instead of Rashawn Holmes. Miles Bridges played 22 minutes, 15, 4, and 1. He's a candidate for a second half breakout. Keep an eye on him. Currently outside the top 250. We'll see what Charlotte does at the trade deadline, if anything. If he can sneak his way into 30 minutes a night, he'd be worth owning. The one guy who has been producing a lot off the bench is Tony Parker as of late. Tonight, in 18 minutes, went for 14 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists on 5 of 10 shooting, 4 of 4 from the free throw line, and a steal. He is still way back there, but maybe in deeper leagues you might want to stream him. Just don't do it when I do it. Anyway, that's what I got for the Hornets. Any thoughts on them?
Man, a lot of guys here on their bench that are so tempting. MKG getting 30 minutes, putting up 15 points. Hernan Gomez, as you mentioned, a double-double here with 16 big boards. Bridges looks really solid when he gets time, man. If Bridges could get more minutes in the second half of the season, I would love to pick him up, but I just don't trust any of these guys as of yet. I'm watching all of them. Charlotte currently the 8th seed in the East. If they fall out of the playoff hunt, I could see them maybe making a move at the deadline, maybe going more into that tank mode. But until then, I'm not really willing to make any moves based off of that idea. All right. Going to head over to the next game. Next up on the docket, the Sixers and the Pacers. And this one was a surprising blowout. I thought the Pacers were going to give the Sixers a better fight in this one, but it did not happen. The Sixers 120 over the Pacers, who had 96. Going to take a look at the Sixers and start with Jimmy Butler, who had a beautiful game. 27 points, 3 steals, 8 assists, 5 rebounds, 1 3, a perfect 6 of 6 from the line, 10 of 17 from the field. Joel Embiid flirting with the triple-double here. 22 points with 8 assists, 13 rebounds, 1 steal, 3 blocks. This is outstanding from him. He even gave you 2 threes tonight. 9 of 19 from the field, 2 of 2 from the line. He was dealing with some back tightness that seemed to have been bothering him. There were times where he was grimacing during one of the timeouts, or I'm sorry, not timeout. When he was on the bench at one point, you could see him stretching out his back. So let's hope that that's nothing. Played through it and looked outstanding in this game. JJ Redick had a big game as well. 20 points, 5 assists, 3 rebounds. He's good for some threes, and he did not disappoint tonight. 6 of 9 from downtown, 7 of 12 from the field. Ben Simmons with 11 points, 8 assists, 8 rebounds, a steal, a block, 5 of 10 from the field, 1 of 2 from the line. Wilson Chandler had 10 points, a steal, 2 assists, 2 threes, 4 of 9 from the field. This team playing really well in this game. Even got some nice help off the bench. Muscala, 11 points, 7 rebounds, a steal, a block, 3 threes from Muscala. That's outstanding. Don't really trust him, though, because he's coming off the bench in just, 22 minutes. I think most nights he's not going to be this good in that role in that amount of time. Not too much else to talk about here. Neil, what are your thoughts on the Sixers?
My thoughts are the same as last time. Just not much to really take away from their stat lines. They've got I sound like a broken record. They got their big three and they got Redick, and then they've got no one else fantasy worthy, unless somehow, I guess, if Vonleh comes into the mix, perhaps. I'm worried he'll lose all his value, but right now there's really no one to pick up. You just have to perhaps stream Muscala if there are some rest days for Embiid down the stretch, or other guys get rest. I think he if Butler goes down or takes a break, then McConnell can be streamed or things like that. Other than that, there's really nothing to pick up for a long-term outlet. Any other thoughts before I go to Indiana?
Nope.
Okay, so on their side, led tonight by the only Thaddeus Young, 27 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist on 11 of 17 shooting, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 3 3-pointers, a steal. Miles Turner played 32 minutes, did not do much, at least from the points category. 1 of 5 shooting, 8 points, 12 rebounds, no assists, 5 of 6 from the free throw line, a 3-pointer. But defensively, he went nuts. 3 steals, 3 blocks. So saved his night there. Oladipo, 15 points, 2 rebounds, 7 assists. He has been really quiet this season. 6 of 20 from the field, so struggled there. Let's look at, my stats set is not showing up. 3 3-pointers, no steals, no blocks. Darren Collison starting alongside of him, 30 minutes, 6 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists on 3 of 10 shooting, 2 steals, no blocks. Off the bench, even Sabonis had a quiet night, just 6 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists on 3 of 7 shooting and a block. Corey Joseph, 21 minutes, Tyreek Evans, 15. Not much there. I guess the one thing that I want to talk about, or at least bring up, since it really isn't a major developments, is Oladipo. He's now down to 42nd overall on a per-game basis. Would you buy low on him? Do you think he's going to climb back up around or another 10 spots, or do you think this is kind of where he is? I don't know if I could buy. I don't know how much I would pay for him. I don't think he's going to climb up too much. Maybe he gets the 30, but I don't think he's going to jump anywhere near that first or second round value that he was probably drafted in. Do you have any thoughts on him?
Yeah, I agree with you. I wouldn't buy on him unless you can buy cheap on him. The person who has Victor Oladipo likely drafted him in the second or early third round. So, that person probably will not sell too low on him. But I agree with you, man. He's just I don't think he's going to return that second or end of first round value that we were hoping he would be at during draft season. So I would not be aggressively trying to get him. Neil, I have a team where I have Victor Oladipo and Donovan Mitchell, and you can bet I am getting destroyed in the field goal. The field goal. I actually have Sabonis on that same team, so not happy to see Sabonis struggle here in this one as well. I am not having a good night in that league, but I do hope Victor Oladipo kind of turns around. I listened to an interview with him, Neil, and he said one of the biggest changes this year compared to last year is he's seeing a lot of double teams. Like defenses are zoning in on him, where I think last year he kind of broke out and was like surprised, where this year like defenses are preparing for him. So it's really difficult. Maybe the similar things happening to Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell is not scoring as easily as he did last season as well. So anyways, that's about all I got. I'm going to move over to the next game up. The Phoenix Suns and the Toronto Raptors. Neil, as you mentioned at the beginning of the show, this one ended up being much closer than I would have ever guessed. I thought this would have been a blowout. Arguably, maybe one of the best teams in the NBA, the Raptors, going up against one of the worst teams in the NBA. But the Suns gave them a fight. And I'm going to look over at their side. Going to start with Devin Booker. Nice to see this guy playing back. 30 points, 8 assists, 2 rebounds, 4 threes, 10 of 21 from the field, 6 of 9 from the line. DeAndre Ayton, nice double-double here. 15 points, 17 rebounds, 2 assists. But what I really like, the defensive contribution that we saw from him. 2 steals and 2 blocks. If he can keep that up, man, he will be outstanding. 6 of 8 from the field, 3 of 4 from the line. Bridges, this is pretty nice to see. Getting the start, getting 30 minutes, and having a nice line here. 15 points, 4 assists with 5 rebounds, 1 block. I love he's contributing across the board. He even gave you a 3, gave you some nice free throw shooting, 4 of 4 from the line, 5 of 8 from the field. This guy could possibly be available in some standard leagues. Let's keep an eye on him. Melton, don't trust him, don't own him, only 2 points. Likely got into some major foul trouble, 4 fouls in just 16 minutes. So that likely had to do with his low playing time. 1 steal, 1 block, 2 assists, 3 rebounds. Somebody who's been playing really well, Neil, that I think needs to be owned now in standard leagues is Kelly Oubre. It's clear he's getting good minutes, good usage, even coming off the bench. 30 minutes tonight and took 15 shots. Now, the shot did not fall, 3 of 15 from the field, but saved his line from the line tonight. 11 of 13 from the line for 18 points, a steal, an assist, 9 rebounds. Make sure this guy's owned in standard leagues. I think he's pretty good. Might be a good second half play too, as we know this team's going to continue to tank. Maybe they give him some more run here in the second half of the season. TJ Warren with 11 points, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 5 of 16, 1 3 in 41 minutes. Not too much else to talk about. Josh Jackson was disappointing in this one. 7 points, 2 rebounds in just 19 minutes. Okobo, we don't trust him. Holmes was disappointing, as we pointed out at the beginning of the show. Only 3 points, an assist, a rebound. It's tough, man. He can have big games, but he can also have games like this. So he's pretty tough to count on. Neil, what do you think of the Suns, man?
Man, why do you have to rub my wounds that way?
Sorry, man.
All right. Yeah, Oubre, I agree with him. I think they're going to want to see if he's part of their long-term future. So I think they're going to let him run a lot in the second half. I tried to pick him up in one league. He was already gone. I'm going to look more tonight, and I'm probably too late on him. But anyway, if your league, if that's not the case, I agree with you. Pick him up. And, last night we talked about Doncic being the number 1 or the rookie of the year running away. But as far as fantasy rookies of the year, it's DeAndre Ayton. This guy is 30th overall on per game basis, while Luka is 45th. So his stat sets with the double doubles, the high percentages, the defensive stats, the free throw shooting is just fine for a big man. He is producing. All right, I am going to head over to the Toronto side. As you mentioned, Kawhi Leonard sat out because of the back-to-back. So tonight, is it Lowry who led them? I'm going to take a guess and say no, it was not. It was Serge Ibaka, 22 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist on 11 of 19 shooting. We keep talking about the renaissance he has had this year. It's been fun to see. No 3-pointers. He did go 0 of 2 from the line and no blocks. Lowry did have 16 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, 4 of 15 from the field, 6 of 9 from the free throw line, 2 3-pointers, 2 steals. Pascal Siakam, 10 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists on 4 of 8 shooting, a steal, 2 blocks. Danny Green, 9 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. His BFF was not in tonight, so it did not work out for him. 3 of 6 from the field, a 3-pointer, a steal, 2 of 3 from the free throw line. Van Fleet starting at the 2 tonight. 31 minutes, 15 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 6 of 11 from the field. Solid night from him. 1 3-pointer, 2 of 2 from the line, and a block. Off the bench, Norman Powell plays 21 minutes. Not much of a stat set tonight. Same with DeLon Wright and CJ Miles. Monroe, 11 minutes. Van Fleet, he is someone, I guess, maybe we talk about. He's now 146 on a per-game basis. Sometimes he gets to start in there when they're resting someone. When Lowry was out for a while, he started. Now he was starting with Leonard out tonight. So I don't know how to stream, so I'm not going to stream him. But I think he is someone you can put your eye on. Other than that, Siakam still continues to impress. Did I go over his line? I might have skipped him. 10 points, 12 rebounds. Anyway, I'm not going to say it because I might have already said it. Anyway, I think would I rather have Danny Green or Van Fleet? Probably Green. I guess he's still 30 ranks higher, but I think it's closer than that. And that's really it. You have any thoughts on the Raptors?
I like your take on Van Vliet in deeper leagues. If you need point guard help, as you said, when Kawhi Leonard sits, Van Vliet is viable. And also, Kyle Lowry was iffy coming in this one due to rest as well. So if Lowry gets some rest down the stretch, which would not surprise me, Van Vliet will also would be a solid stream in that case as well. So, we love these players that have like 2 handcuffs, right? Like if multiple guys miss, he could be viable. So I think he's a great add in some deeper leagues. And Neil, on that same team I was telling you about that's got Sabonis and Oladipo, I played Danny Green in that league as well. So a rough night for Team Kobe Wan Kenobi tonight.
But a great name for Team Kobe Wan Kenobi. That's great.
All right. Not too much else for me to add. Though Toronto will be much better in the next one, I'm sure, with Kawhi Leonard back in the lineup. All right. Let's keep rolling here. Fun night of hoops. And let's go over to the Chicago Bulls and the Denver Nuggets. This one, a blowout as well. 135-105. The Nuggets over the Bulls. Let's take a look at the Bulls side first. Hutchinson, 12 points, a steal, 5 rebounds, 6 of 9 from the field. This is a guy I wanted to keep a close eye on. Excuse me. But it really hasn't been happening for him. I think we can pretty much ignore him. Chris Dunn, this is pretty disappointing. 6 points, 3 assists, 1 rebound, 3 of 8 from the field. Chris Dunn was really solid last season. I feel like we have not seen the same Chris Dunn yet. I don't know. He was dealing with a lot of injury stuff at the beginning of the season. So I don't know if he's fully healthy or what's going on, but let's hope that he can turn the corner and have a big second half of the season. Zach LaVine, this was a bad game from him as well. 4 of 15 from the field for 8 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds. Portis, now this was really interesting, Neil. With Wendell Carter Jr. dealing with a thumb injury, Portis getting the start here at center, doubled, 10 points, 13 rebounds, 4 assists. He gave you a 3, 4 of 13 from the field, 1 of 2 from the line. Lauri Markkanen was the line of the night for the Chicago Bulls. 27 points, 10 rebounds, and assists. 5 threes tonight. 10 of 18 from the field, 2 of 3 from the line. He's outstanding. Denver, a very good defensive team. They're playing in Denver, which is not an easy place to play at. So the Bulls just kind of getting manhandled overall here. But Robin Lopez, 17 points, 6 rebounds, 8 of 10 from the field in just 19 minutes. It's a great game from him. Parker with a decent game, 15 points, 2 assists, 3 rebounds in just 18 minutes, 5 of 7 from the field, 2 threes tonight as well, 3 of 4 from the line. Tough to trust him. Tough to really trust any of these guys off the bench. Neil, what do you think of the Chicago Bulls?
You know, they get manhandled no matter where they play. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be mean, but when it's your own team, you just like to complain, right? So it's just they don't look like they look like they're outmatched is what it looks like. It looks like the game starts and it looks like there's one clearly better team than them on, I'd say, half the games they play. And tonight that was certainly the case. Denver's a very good team, as you mentioned, tough place to play. And it was just they kind of fought hard in the first quarter, and they kind of eventually, by the third quarter, were just dominated by that point. As you talked about yesterday, Carter Jr. Is having a thumb injury, was out tonight. Yeah, Dunn was really disappointing. He does not look like the same guy I saw last year. So I have him in the league, and it's been frustrating for me to see that. Markkanen, though, continues to play well. Happy to see him getting better. Levine, he's just starting to struggle. I don't know if it's the coaching change that isn't giving him the opportunities to score as much, but it's just not happening ever since he's come back and Chicago has changed coaches. So not sure where he's going to end up this year. And then maybe Portis. You think? Have you any more inside news on Wendell Carter Jr.? I know you've got the hotline to his house. Have you talked to him?
No, just hearing that he avoided a long-term shutdown. So I'm hearing Wendell Carter Jr.'s day-to-day, which is really good news because, besides I'm a fan of Wendell Carter Jr., want to see him play well. Also for the Bulls, it's really beneficial for them if he's getting playing time because we know he's going to be a big part of their future. They want him to develop and get good. The sooner he develops, the sooner the Bulls will be a powerhouse with this young core that they have. So I just am happy that he's not going to have a lengthy absence. There were some rumors, Neil, that he was going to miss somewhere from like 6 to 8 weeks. So I'm really happy that this is just a day-to-day injury.
Powerhouse, we shall see. I like your confidence, though. All right, on the Denver side, a lot of these guys, the minutes are spread out because of the one-sidedness by the second half. Tonight, Jokic played 25 minutes, 18 points, 8 rebounds, 11 assists on 6 of 18 shooting. Went 6 of 6 from the free throw line. No three-pointers, did have a steal and a block. Millsap didn't look that great tonight, but I guess the stat set showed up. 14 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists on 5 of 6 from the field, 2 3-pointers, and a steal, 2 of 4 from the line. It was really Jamal Murray, though, that led the scores tonight. 29 minutes, 25 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists on 8 of 16 shooting, including 7 3-pointers. This guy is going to be good. Speaking of future stars, Malik Beasley played 34 minutes, started alongside him. Gary Harris came off the bench. Beasley scored 13 points, 9 rebounds, 1 assist on 5 of 7 shooting, 2 of 3 from three-point land, no defensive stats. Torrey Craig also started, just played 23 minutes, 13 points, 5 rebounds, 0 assists, 4 of 7 shooting, 4 3-pointers, and a block off the bench. Gary Harris, as I mentioned, played 19 minutes, still ramping up, 14 points, though, on 6 of 11 shooting, 1 rebound, 2 assists, 2 3-pointers, no defensive stats. Trey Lyles, 21 minutes, 12 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists on 5 of 10 shooting, 2 3-pointers, a steal. Mason Plumlee played 20 minutes, 8 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 of 4 from the field, and a steal. Hernan Gomez, 18 minutes. Monte Morris, 16. These are the nights when it's when Denver blows someone out and they just kind of use so many players. Will Barton, I should mention, did not play. It looks like he was just questionable. I imagine he will be back sooner than later. Actually, it was personal reasons. So we know he's on his way back along with Gary Harris. Expect those guys to ramp up more and more. Certainly after the All-Star break, if not sooner. Not much else to say here. It's hard to really start Gary Harris just yet if you're on a per-game basis. He's not playing that many minutes, but hopefully you can soon. Other than that, I don't really have any changes on this team. Do you have any thoughts on the Nuggets?
Man, no, not a lot from me. And this game's really tough to read into due to the blowout factor. If Gary Harris can get healthy, I'm a big fan of Gary Harris, and I'm hoping he has a big second half of the season. So I'm all for trying to get Gary Harris if you can get him, if you can buy low on him. Maybe the Gary Harris owner is a little fed up with him missing time and still kind of not 100% yet, or really taking his time coming back here. So I don't know. That's about all I got, Neil. All right, you guys, one more game to go. Unfortunately, I got to get out of here. I still got some sick family to take care of. Neil will be back for one more game. Lakers and the Thunder heading into overtime. Thanks so much, you guys, for listening and supporting the show. It's been a great week. Can't wait for more great fantasy action next week. Hit us up on Twitter. I'm at Adrian Benjamins. He is at Ball with Neil. Hit us up. I will see you guys next week. Neil will be back for one more.
Last game of the night. Lakers prevail in overtime 138-128 over Oklahoma City. Looking at the Lakers line tonight, overtime game, a lot of minutes here. Lonzo Ball looked fantastic. Start with him, 18.7 rebounds, 10 assists on 7 of 17 from the field, 4 3-pointers, a steal for turnovers. Kyle Kuzma led the team in scoring, 34 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists on 12 of 21 from the field, 3 of 3 from the line, 7 3-pointers, 3 steals. That was a heck of a performance by the entire team and those two guys in particular. Brandon Ingram played 38 minutes, 8 points, 5 rebounds, 11 assists. Just shot 1 of 9 from the field. Did go 6 of 6 from the line. Had a block. Tyson Chandler, 6. He started tonight, so they're mixing things up. Chandler's been starting over JaVale McGee. He played 16 minutes tonight, 6.7 rebounds, 3 of 6 on the field. Did have 2 blocks. Caldwell Pope also now in the starting lineup, 23 minutes for him. 13 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 5 of 7 shooting, 3 3-pointers, 2 steals off the bench. This is where it kind of got interesting. Zubac certainly had looked like their best center out there by far tonight. 28 minutes, 24 points, 12 rebounds, 1 assist, 11 of 13 from the field. We've seen this guy in the past when he gets a lot of minutes, put up really strong lines. Happened again tonight. Curious to know what his role will be going forward. Does he get this many minutes when LeBron comes back? Does it still hold this way, or does McGee get back in the starting lineup? I'm not sure, so just wait and see. But Zubac played phenomenally well tonight. Josh Hart also played solidly off the bench, 33 minutes, 12 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists. Maybe he just does better against second units. 3 of 6 from the field, 4 or 5 from the free throw line, 2 3-pointers, 3 steals, and a block. This is why a lot of us have streamed him, or at least tried to, and hoping he would put up lines like this. That's about it for their stat line tonight. I guess watch what happens when LeBron comes back. That changes the entire dynamic of this team, of course. So perhaps if you're going to stream someone, I think Caldwell Pope would be the safest. Zubac would be the higher upside. But LeBron should be back, I think, relatively soon. I don't think it'll be too many more games. I'm seeing an estimate of the 21st. So that's 4 days from now. We'll see if that holds up. On the Oklahoma City side, Westbrook triple-doubles, 26 points, 10 rebounds, 13 assists. However, on the field goal percentage, 7 of 30 from the field, 7 of 10 from the free throw line. Did knock down 3 crucial threes at the end of regulation to send it to overtime. He had 5 3-pointers, 2 steals, and a block. Paul George, 27 points, 6 rebounds, 9 assists, 9 of 19 shooting, 4 of 6 from the free throw line, 5 3-pointers, 3 steals. Jeremy Grant, 39 minutes, kind of a quiet line though for that many minutes. 14 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 5 of 13 shooting. Did have 3 blocks and 2 3-pointers. Terrence Ferguson, 37 minutes, 21 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 6 of 13 from the field, 3 of 5 from the free throw line, 6 3-pointers, and a steal. Steven Adams, 17 and 17. Great line from him. Just 1 assist, 6 of 9 from the field, though. Also went 5 of 6 from the free throw line, 3 steals, no blocks from him. Off the bench, Dennis Schroeder, very quiet night, 17 minutes, 19 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists, 3 of 7. I just think he couldn't be out there defending guys bigger than him. So more of a matchup thing than I think anything long-term. Nerlens Noel plays 12 minutes, Nader 11, Diallo 11, Patrick Patterson 10. So yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about Schroeder. He is currently startable in 8 cat leagues at 123, or I should say right on the cusp. And maybe he went out. It looks like available to return, so he must have left this game and came back. So perhaps that was it more than the defensive matchup. Jeremy Grant continues to play solidly. He is now 99th overall on a per-game basis. Probably picked up in all your leagues. And that's really it. Westbrook, he is 14th overall in ACAT league. But it's really the two things that kill him are the field goal percent and free throw percent. And tonight, the field goal percent was way off. So much better point leagues guy than the traditional rotisserie player. All right, with that, I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks for listening. We're off for the next couple of days. We'll be back on Sunday. You can hit me up on Twitter. I am at ballwithneil, BALLWITHNEIL. And we'll talk to you then.
This has been a Hoop Ball presentation.